It's surely not kind to be unkind to a simpleton. But then enters in the question, is it more unkind to leave a simpleton where he is, thinking he's not a simpleton? I'm convinced Jesus had to consider this when considering me. And it's not that I'm brought far from being a simpleton, God knows. But I think we'll all encounter it. You know? Things that we've seen, things that we've learned, things that we may think we know. And those who think they know, but you've already been there. You've already been that. And you know how that works. And I participate as much as I'm able with brothers in seeking after the Lord. Seeking even a comfort from one another in the Lord. And encouragement and reproof, correction, rebuke as need be. But there's a place we encounter, but we don't see till we get past it. And it's a place of attitude, even two seeming attitudes, especially about the scriptures. And the one is, as most readily confessed and commonly held and often quoted, is in, 2 Timothy 3:16, now all scripture is given of God, or is inspired of God, and is, worthy. It's escaping me now. But it's all fitting for instruction, for reproof. And so we have this convincing, and we speak to each other of it, that what's in the scripture is for us, and for us to get. Not just merely, as I failed to before, rotely mimic, mime, or repeat, nor is it for a reduction to something other, but that there's an instruction in it to be an instruction for us that we might learn stuff. Otherwise, why even look, right? But I mean, that's just a natural equation, or a natural logic. Why look? But we look, and we look convinced there's something to be gleaned, something to be learned. Things are recorded, and recorded in particular because of all the things that could be recorded. As even John says, if everything was written down, even the world could not hold all the books. So there's at least one place where we know someone in the scriptures is referring to all that was not recorded. Because we can speculate. I've done it many times. Jesus didn't say that. He could have said that, but he didn't. He said this. And that's a fool's game for the most part, because when you start getting into what Jesus didn't say, there's an unlimited amount of things that Jesus said. Our calling, so to speak, is to pay attention to what he did say. So what's recorded is recorded to an end that we might receive instruction, as it says in 2 Timothy 3:16, as Paul said, thou these things fell out to them as an example to us, upon whom the end of the ages has come. The things we read about, to be an example or to learn from. But also, and concomitant with that, and not infrequently held also, is the notion that can be reduced to some extent to that bumper sticker sort of theology. God said it, I believe it, and that settles it. Where when we come up against, frankly, what we don't understand, we say, well, it's enough that it's there, that's all. Nobody, we might even go so far as like, nobody's supposed to understand that, or, which is really just the extension of, because I don't understand it, nobody else can. And God knows how many times I've been there myself. And God knows how many times I've encountered it from others. Oh, that's especially when we get it, everybody's got their warnings about the book of Revelation, Oh yeah, be careful with that one. Oh yeah, you can get off into the deep grass with that. You be careful now. Be careful about people that come to you trying to tell you what they think it means. Be careful. People want to lead you astray, can lead you astray, often do lead you astray. And that's not untrue. That's not untrue, but none of this discerning comes by fear. It comes by experience that we frankly can't avoid. Having things blow up in our face. Now I'm happy for the man who's never had anything blow up in his face, who's been perfectly obedient in all ways to all things that he's heard and seen of the Lord. If that sounds a little bit facetious, maybe even sarcastic, God knows. But for the man who knows it's through many tribulations, through many dead ends, through many wrong turns, through many judgments, through many chastenings, through many rebukes, reproofs, rebuffs, I have some fellowship with that man. But I also have in that fellowship with that man a little bit of a caution for the other man. Just because you don't understand it, just because to you it may seem beyond anyone's understanding, don't be deceived. If you think you understand quite well, and well enough to exclude the words of some or another, just be careful. Be careful. Certain words are to be judged amongst those of like calling. Certain things are to be judged amongst those of like calling. And nothing is to be prohibited from being presented by any one man. Let the prophets speak, 2 or 3, and let the others sitting by judge. Now, whether the others sitting by are limited to the prophets judging, or all sitting by, so that they too can learn how to exercise discernment, knowing good from evil. Making the necessary mistakes that need to be made can't be avoided. As much as we would like to think we can stick ourselves to some kind of impeccable following that will just save us from all rebuke, save us from all ever feeling even slightly ashamed, save us from ever being exposed as proud, arrogant, foolish. God knows. God knows I met that man. God knows how much remains of that man. Foolish, arrogant, thinks he knows when he doesn't know, is the most superficial of all because he thinks he's not. Yeah, I've lived with that guy for quite some time, intimately. Still do. And God knows when he rears his head. Any hearing had better have discernment to know, or if not, can be deceived either way. The man's a liar, or the man's got something perhaps. But anyway, this all came to me in the revelation that I am an angry man. Or most of it anyway. My baseline has been angry. I don't know it any more than any other man knows his normal is not normal. His baseline is what his baseline is, and to him that's normal. And to him and the Lord, until the Lord reproves him of it or shows it, it's normal. But I was shown I was in need of something. or desired something. And the Lord took a part. I can't deny it. Took a hand in bringing me to it. But because I didn't like all the mechanisms associated with it, getting it, doing what I had to do to have it, I rather took offense rather than being helped. I preferred to take offense rather than receive the help. And in that, I had to face. Yeah. I'm a man in some angriness. How deep it goes, God knows. How much it is, God knows. I have no way to quantify or compare. Nor do anything about other than, at best, with the grace of God, not deny. I am that man. I am that guy. And how much of my life before and even after coming to some knowledge of the truth has been an all vain attempt to not be that guy, thinking I might be not that guy, or not ever be that guy, because I took heed to some example of that guy who everyone is not to be. But when I woke up and saw I am that guy, have always been that guy, have always been the guy that all warn about to not be that guy, something happened of relief. And I can recommend it, I suppose, but I can't impose it. Be blessed, be well, rejoice in the Lord, be changed.